All right, so today we're diving deep, really deep into the life and work of, I'm sure you guessed it, Albert Einstein.
And we're not just talking about EMC2 and the crazy
Oh,
hair.
no, 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 we're going way beyond that.
We're talking about the mind-blowing theories that revolutionized physics
Yeah,
and really kind of reshaped our entire understanding of the universe.
exactly. So to guide our exploration today, we've got a couple of sources. We've got, of course, his Wikipedia page, always a good starting point.
Always a good starting point, yep. And we've also got this fascinating YouTube video called Get This, Learn English through Story E Level 3, Albert Einstein Graded Reader Woo English.
Okay, so maybe brush up on your English skills while we unpack some pretty complex physics.
Sounds like a plan.
So let's start at the beginning, shall we? Einstein wasn't always the scientific superstar we know him as. You know, his early life actually had some pretty surprising twists and turns.
It did.
Starting with a simple compass, like the kind you use for directions. That somehow sparked this lifelong fascination with science. It's incredible to think about, isn't it?
It really is. I mean, when you think about it, it's kind of amazing how these seemingly insignificant events can sometimes shape a person's entire trajectory.
Mhm.
Like in Einstein's case, as a young boy, he gets this compass from his father, and it just ignites this curiosity
Mm.
about unseen forces, about how things work. And that curiosity, well, that eventually leads him to revolutionize our understanding of electromagnetism, the very force, by the way, that makes a compass work.
Wow, it's like that compass pointed him toward his destiny.
Yeah, you could say that. But his path wasn't exactly a straight line, if you will. According to his Wikipedia page, he had some run-ins with the teaching style at his school. It was called the Lewipool Gymnasium. Pretty rigid environment, didn't really mesh well with his way of thinking.
And he even struggled with art drawing, of all things, on his
Mhm.
Matura certificate. That's like a kind of like a high school exit exam, right?
Right, exactly. It really makes you wonder, how could someone who struggled in art class go on to completely reshape our understanding of the entire cosmos?
Well, I think it really challenges our traditional notions of what intelligence is and how success is measured. I mean, Einstein's early struggles highlight I think, this really important point that we need to nurture different ways of learning, and recognize that brilliance can show up in some pretty unexpected ways.
It's so true. And it makes me think about, those moments of friction, those times when he questioned the way things were. Maybe those were actually crucial to his development as a groundbreaking thinker.
Yeah, yeah, I see what you mean. Maybe those early challenges forced him to think differently, to develop that kind of independent thinking that would later lead him to challenge, well, really the very foundations of physics.
Possibly, yeah. But let's jump ahead a bit, shall we? Fast forward to 1905. Now, this was a year that would forever change the landscape of science.
Oh, this is where things get really exciting.
It is. It's often referred to as Einstein's miracle year or annus mirabilis, if you're feeling fancy, and for good reason. I mean, in this single year, Einstein published count 'em, four groundbreaking papers
Four.
that completely revolutionized our understanding of, well, pretty much everything. Light, energy, even the fabric of reality itself.
All right, well, let's break them down one by one, starting with the paper that would eventually earn him the Nobel Prize in 1921, the photoelectric effect. Now, before Einstein came along, physicists were pretty baffled by this whole dual nature of light thing.
They were. I mean, sometimes light acted like a wave, spreading out like ripples in a pond, and then other times it acted like a particle, like this tiny little bundle of energy.
So it's like light was playing hide and seek with scientists.
Yeah, pretty much. Switching back and forth, wave, particle, wave, particle. Very confusing.
Well, Einstein, through his analysis of the photoelectric effect, he showed that light could actually be thought of as these tiny little packets of energy. We now call them photons. Basically, he demonstrated that light, when it interacts with matter, it takes on these particle-like properties, even though it can also act like a wave. So light is both a wave and a particle.
You got it. It's
Hmm.
a concept known as wave-particle duality, and let me tell you, it was revolutionary. It
Yeah.
really challenged those neat, tidy categories of classical physics and laid the groundwork for, well, a whole new way of thinking about the world.
That's pretty mind-bending stuff, but it's also kind of awesome when you think about it.
It is, and it led to, quantum mechanics. And quantum mechanics, that's a whole other can of worms.
Oh yeah, we're going to get to that later for sure. But this wave particle duality thing, it's not just some abstract theory, right? It's actually had a huge impact on our everyday lives.
Oh, absolutely. Think about it. Things like solar panels,
Yeah.
those convert light energy into electricity. And digital cameras, those capture light as individual photons to create images,
Hmm.
all thanks to Einstein's work.
So thanks to Einstein, we can power our homes and capture those precious memories. That's pretty incredible when you think about it.
It is. But 1905, remember, was a big year for him.
Yeah.
We've got more papers to unpack.
Let's do it. What about Brownian motion?
Ah, Brownian motion. Now, this is the seemingly random jiggling of, tiny particles suspended in a fluid. Like if you imagine
Yeah.
pollen grains in a drop of water just kind of dancing around. Before Einstein, this was a mystery. No one could really explain it. But Einstein, he came up with a mathematical explanation that had far-reaching implications.
I'm all ears.
Well, he proposed that this jiggling, this seemingly random movement, was actually caused by these tiny little particles constantly being bombarded by the even tinier molecules of the fluid. And his mathematical model, not only did it explain Brownian motion, it also provided some pretty compelling evidence for the existence of atoms and molecules.
Which at the time was still being debated, right?
Exactly. So he settled a major scientific debate. A&D gave us a deeper understanding of how matter behaves at, like, the tiniest level. Pretty impressive, right?
Ooh, this guy was on a roll. 2 groundbreaking papers down, 2 to go. Okay, let's talk about the one that, that really makes people's heads spin, special relativity.
Ah, yes. Special relativity. This is where Einstein truly, truly shook the foundations of physics. We're talking about the relationship between space and time. And it's all based on 2 really simple but mind-blowingly profound postulates.
Postulates. That's serious.
Well, think of them as like fundamental assumptions. The first one, it states that the laws of physics are the same for all observers who are moving at a constant speed. So whether you're sitting still or zooming through space at 1,000,000 miles an hour, the laws of physics, they apply equally.
Okay, that makes sense. What's the second postulate?
All right, brace yourself.
Yeah.
This one states that the speed of light in a vacuum is the same for all observers, regardless of the motion of the light source.
Wait, hold on. So no matter how fast you're moving, even if you're, like, chasing a beam of light, you'll always measure its speed to be the same. How is that even possible?
That's the thing. That's the mind-blowing part. To make this constant speed of light work, Einstein realized that our whole understanding of space and time, it had to change. Space and time, they're not absolute. They're relative to the observer. They're woven together into this single fabric, which we call space-time.
Okay, so it's like saying the ruler we use to measure space and the clock we use to measure time, they can actually stretch and shrink depending on how fast you're moving.
That's a great way to put it, yeah. And one of the craziest consequences of this, of special relativity, is that time itself, it's not absolute. It can actually speed up or slow down depending on your relative motion.
Whoa. So time travel, it's not just science fiction.
Well, not exactly. The effects of time dilation, that's what it's called, they're really only noticeable at speeds close to the speed of light. But it's a real phenomenon. It's been experimentally verified. Like even GPS satellites, they have to take time dilation into account to make sure they're accurate.
Okay, my head is spinning, but in a good way. It's incredible how Einstein took something like the speed of light, something we all kind of take for granted, and used it to unlock these incredible secrets about space and time.
It really is. But remember, we still have one more paper from 1905 to talk about, the one with the famous equation.
Eval T2, the equivalence of mass and energy. All right, lay it on me.
So this equation, it's often misunderstood, but it's actually pretty simple at its core. It states that mass and energy, they're 2 sides of the same coin. They're interchangeable.
Hold on, so you're saying that matter can be converted into energy and vice versa? Is that like how nuclear weapons work?
That's exactly it. A tiny amount of mass can be converted into a huge amount of energy, and that's what gives atomic bombs their devastating power. But it works the other way around, too. Energy can be converted into mass, and that's something that happens in particle accelerators, where scientists smash particles together at super high speeds to create new, more massive particles.
So this one equation, EMC2, it unlocks the secrets of the universe's most powerful forces.
It does. From the heart of stars to, well, yeah, destructive potential of nuclear weapons. It's a testament to the power of abstract thinking, the ability to really see beyond what's right in front of us and uncover those fundamental laws that govern the universe.
And all this from a patent clerk in Bern, Switzerland?
That's right.
What an incredible year for Einstein and for science as a whole, but he wasn't done shaking things up just yet.
Oh no, not even close. His next big adventure, that would take him into the realm of gravity, a force that had puzzled scientists for centuries.
Okay, this should be good. We're talking about general relativity, right? Einstein's masterpiece.
We are, the theory that would redefine our understanding of gravity and its role in the universe.
I can't wait to hear more, but that's going to have to wait until next time.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the world of Albert Einstein. Last time, we were talking about his incredible work in 1905, his miracle year, with all those groundbreaking papers. From the photoelectric effect to special relativity, I mean, the guy was really on fire.
Yeah, he really was. And today we're picking up the story with his theory of general relativity. This is the one that completely revolutionized our understanding of gravity, one of the most fundamental forces in the universe.
Okay, I'm ready. Lay it on me. So in part one, we talked about special relativity, which dealt with objects moving at constant speeds. But general relativity, this one tackles acceleration and gravity, right?
Exactly. See, for centuries, we had Newton's law of universal gravitation, it worked pretty well, described gravity as this force of attraction between objects with mass. But Einstein, he had this radical idea. What if gravity wasn't a force at all? What if it was something else entirely? Okay, now you've got me intrigued. What was this radical idea?
He proposed that gravity was actually a curvature of space-time.
Okay, wait, hold on. Space-time. Curvature. I'm gonna need a little help visualizing this.
All right. Picture this. You've got a trampoline, right? And you put a bowling ball right in the middle. Now, the bowling ball, that represents a massive object like the sun. And the trampoline, that represents space-time, the fabric of the universe. What happens to the trampoline when you put the bowling ball on it?
Well, it creates a dip, right? The bowling ball sinks down a bit, and the trampoline curves around it.
Exactly. Now imagine you roll a marble across the trampoline. It's not going to travel in a straight line, is it?
No, it's going to curve around the bowling ball because of that dip.
That's it. That's gravity, according to Einstein. Planets orbiting the sun, they're not being pulled by some mysterious force. They're actually just following the curves in space-time created by the sun's mass, just like that marble on the trampoline.
Wow, that's a brilliant analogy. It finally makes sense to me why planets move the way they do. But this must have been a pretty radical idea back then. How did Einstein convince everyone that he was right?
Well, it took time, and it took proof. One of those dramatic confirmations of general relativity came during the 1919 solar eclipse. Einstein had predicted that the path of starlight passing near the sun would actually be bent by the sun's gravity. This bending of light, it's called gravitational lensing.
And during the eclipse, when the moon blocked the sun's bright light, scientists were actually able to observe this bending of starlight.
Exactly. British astronomer Sir Arthur Eddington, he led this expedition to observe the eclipse, and his findings, they matched Einstein's predictions perfectly. It was huge news, made headlines all over the world, and it really solidified Einstein's status as this revolutionary figure in science.
It's like the universe itself was putting on a show to prove him right. It makes you wonder what other secrets are hiding out there, just waiting for someone to unlock them. But speaking of unlocking secrets, let's move on to another mind-bending chapter in Einstein's story, his relationship with quantum mechanics.
Ah, yes, quantum mechanics. This is where things get a little complex, even for Einstein. See, he was a pioneer in the early development of quantum theory. But later on, he actually became skeptical of some of its core principles, particularly this idea that the universe, at its most fundamental level, is governed by chance, by uncertainty.
So he helped open the door to this whole new world of quantum physics, but then had second thoughts about where it was leading. That's fascinating.
It is. Remember, his work on the photoelectric effect, that was a key contribution to early quantum theory. But as quantum mechanics developed, it started introducing these very strange concepts like wave-particle duality, which we talked about, and Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, which was something else entirely.
Hold on, before we go any further, can we just back up a bit? Remind me, what's Heisenberg's uncertainty principle again?
Sure. It basically states that it's impossible to know both the position and the momentum of a particle with perfect accuracy. The more you know about one, the less you can know about the other.
So you're saying that there's a fundamental limit to what we can know about the universe at the subatomic level, that there's always going to be some element of uncertainty.
Exactly. And this uncertainty, it really shook things up because classical physics was all about predictability.
Yeah.
If you knew the initial conditions of a system, you could theoretically predict its future perfectly. But quantum mechanics, it introduced this element of randomness, of probability.
I can see how that would be a bit unsettling for someone like Einstein, who spent his life searching for these beautiful, elegant, deterministic laws of the universe.
Oh, it definitely bothered him. He famously objected to this probabilistic interpretation of quantum mechanics. He even said, God does not play dice. He believed that there had to be some deeper level of reality beneath the quantum world, a level where everything was still governed by clear, cause and effect relationships.
But wasn't he kind of arguing against a theory that he helped create?
Well, in a way, yes, but it just shows you how incredibly intellectually honest he was. He was willing to challenge his own ideas, to keep searching for what he believed to be the truth, even if it meant going against the mainstream.
That's a pretty powerful lesson for all of us, I think, to always be questioning, always be learning, and to be open to changing our minds when presented with new evidence. But this clash of ideas between Einstein and quantum mechanics, it wasn't just some abstract debate, was it?
No, it wasn't. Einstein actually had some pretty famous debates with other physicists who embraced quantum mechanics. The most famous of these were with Niels Bohr, a Danish physicist who became one of the leading figures in quantum mechanics. These Bohr-Einstein debates, they're legendary in the history of science. You had these two titans of physics grappling with the fundamental nature of reality itself.
I would have loved to be a fly on the wall during those conversations. What were some of the key things they argued about?
Well, one famous example is this thought experiment called the Einstein-Podolsky-Rosen paradox, or EPR paradox for short. It involved two entangled particles.
Entangled particles. Okay, now you're really going to have to explain this one.
So entangled particles are these particles that are linked together in this really weird way. They share the same fate no matter how far apart they are. It's like you're connected by this invisible thread.
Okay, so what was Einstein trying to prove with this paradox?
Well, he and his colleagues, Podolsky and Rosen, they were trying to show that quantum mechanics was incomplete, that it didn't tell the whole story. They argued that if you measured the state of one entangled particle, you could instantly know the state of the other one, no matter how far away it was.
So they were saying that information could travel faster than the speed of light. But wouldn't that violate Einstein's own theory of special relativity?
That's exactly what they were saying. They argued that this spooky action at a distance, as Einstein called it, meant there had to be some hidden variables, some underlying mechanism that quantum mechanics wasn't accounting for.
But didn't Bohr have a response to this?
He did. Bohr argued that the entangled particles weren't actually communicating faster than light. He said that they were part of a single, indivisible quantum system, and that measuring one particle instantly affected the state of the other, not through any kind of signal, but through this fundamental interconnectedness that transcended space and time.
So it's like, even though they're separated by huge distances, they're still somehow connected, like they're two parts of the same whole.
That's a good way to put it. And while this debate about the interpretation of quantum mechanics is still going on today, the EPR paradox, it really spurred a lot of research. It's contributed to the development of quantum information theory, which has huge implications for computing and communication. So even Einstein's attempts to disprove quantum mechanics ended up pushing science forward.
That's pretty incredible, isn't it? He was a true revolutionary. Even when he was wrong, he was still pushing the boundaries of our understanding. But our deep dive into Einstein's world, it's not over yet. Next time, we're going to explore the more personal side of this scientific icon, his relationships, his political activism, and the lasting impact his ideas have had on science and culture.
And we'll also delve into his later years, where he went on this quest to find a unified field theory, a theory that would unite all the forces of the universe.
A theory of everything? No, that's something I can't wait to hear more about, but we're going to have to save that for next time. Welcome back for the final part of our deep dive into the life and work of the one and only Albert Einstein. So far, we've explored his groundbreaking theories like relativity, and we've delved into his complex relationship with quantum mechanics. Lots to unpack there.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey, hasn't it? And today, we're going to shift gears a bit, explore some of the more personal facets of his life. We'll talk about his views on religion, his love for music, and really the lasting impact his ideas have had, not just on science, but on culture as a whole.
Okay, sounds good. So let's start with something that often sparks a lot of debate, religion. What were Einstein's views on this, often complex and personal topic?
Well, Einstein's views on religion were definitely nuanced and often, I think, misunderstood. He rejected the idea of a personal God, one who intervenes in human affairs, but he didn't actually consider himself an atheist.
So not an atheist, then what?
He often described himself as an agnostic or maybe a pantheist. He found a sense of wonder and awe in the order and harmony of the universe itself. Kind of like he saw the universe as this grand symphony governed by these elegant laws that reflected something profound and mysterious.
That makes sense. It's like he wasn't rejecting the idea of a higher power, but he was challenging the notion of a deity who acts like a puppet master, controlling everything, intervening in our lives on a whim.
Exactly. For Einstein, the pursuit of scientific understanding, That was his way of connecting with this profound beauty and order of the cosmos. It was a way of uncovering the secrets of nature and appreciating the elegance of its laws.
That's a perspective that I think resonates with a lot of people, the idea that science and spirituality, they're not necessarily at odds. They can coexist and maybe even complement each other.
Absolutely. And speaking of finding harmony and beauty in the world, let's talk about Einstein's love for music.
Oh, yeah, the violin. He was quite the accomplished musician, wasn't he?
He was. Started playing at a young age and continued to find solace and inspiration in music throughout his life. He actually talked a lot about this deep connection between music and scientific thinking. He believed that both involved the search for patterns, harmonies, underlying structures.
That's really interesting. It suggests that creativity can flow between all sorts of different fields, enriching our lives in ways we might not expect.
Definitely. It also highlights, the multifaceted nature of intelligence. It reminds us that our minds, they don't fit into neat little boxes. Who knows, maybe Einstein's musical mind actually played a role in his unique approach to scientific problems. Maybe it helped him see those connections that others might have missed.
It makes you wonder what hidden talents or passions we might all have, just
Exactly.
waiting to be discovered. But as we wrap up our exploration of Einstein's world, I think it's important to reflect on the enduring legacy of his ideas. We've talked about how his theories revolutionized physics, but how do they continue to impact our lives today beyond the world of academia?
Well, his influence is really far-reaching. For one, GPS technology, which relies on these super precise measurements of time and the effects of gravity, that wouldn't be possible without his theories of relativity. So every time you use your smartphone to navigate, you're basically benefiting from Einstein's insights.
Wow, I never thought of it that way. It's amazing how these abstract theories have such tangible applications in our everyday lives.
Right. And in astronomy, his predictions about gravitational lensing, that's helped us to observe these distant galaxies and quasars that we wouldn't be able to see otherwise. It's like his theories have given us these new lenses through which to view the universe, expanding our cosmic horizons.
It's incredible to think that his pursuit of knowledge, just for the sake of understanding, has led to these breakthroughs that have shaped the course of human history.
And beyond all the technological advancements, Einstein's ideas have also had this profound impact on our culture and really how we understand ourselves. His emphasis on imagination, on curiosity, and on this interconnectedness of everything, it's inspired generations of scientists, artists, thinkers.
He showed us that the universe is a place full of wonder and mystery, and that the human mind, with all its creativity and insight, it's capable of understanding even the most complex and seemingly paradoxical things.
Well said. So, while most of us, we might not fully grasp all the intricacies of his theories, I think his spirit of inquiry, his willingness to challenge what we think we know, and his unwavering belief in the power of human reason, that's what continues to inspire us today.
Well, I think we've come to a fitting end to our deep dive into the world of Albert Einstein. We've explored his groundbreaking work, his complex personal life, and his enduring legacy. It's been quite a ride.
It has. And as we leave the realm of Einstein, I think it's important to carry with us that spirit of curiosity, that belief in reason, and that commitment to making the world a better place.
So until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep reaching for those stars.
Farewell.